Hey guys, welcome back. In last lecture I introduced new variables. In this lecture we'll continue. We'll talk more about variables and we'll debug our code. So let's start. Of course, open your terminals and coding editors and let's continue where we finished. Okay, so in last lecture we created a couple of variables. We are using let keyword, but there is also other keyword called const. Alright, so let's say I will specify here const. Alright, so right here const keyword and then name of our variable. So let's say name of our variable will be my just name. Okay, so here we have the first name, last name, and this will be, or let's say full name. Okay, full name. And you can see syntax when I am joining two words together. I also used in a first name, last name, is employed and has apartment. I am using camel case syntax. So I'm starting with a lowercase letter. When I am joining the second word to it, I am starting with a uppercase letter. So it's more readable as this. Okay, so full and the name is uppercase. Of course, you can just write as this. Okay, so full name and full name will be my full name. So this will be Philip space Järge. Okay, so we didn't talk about the reassigning values in a variable. So we have here a full name. Let's say I would like to change this value while my program is running. I would like to decide, okay, I would like to reassign this value. Of course, now it's very hard to imagine this in the single scope of this one file program. We don't have here any functions. We don't have here any real functionality. So all of this example can seem little bit off. But later, when we will be creating difficult programs, you will understand it more. I would like just to show you the basic concepts. So imagine we are creating some difficult program, and in the runtime of our program, we would like to change our variable. So we have here a full name. Let's say we'll decide to change it full name. So we are not specifying any longer here const. Here we are not writing here const full name. All right, because we want to reassign this value. Let's say we want to change this for, let's say, John Green. Okay, so we have here one full name, second full name. Don't forget here write the semicolons. Let's see what will happen when we run this program. Okay, so let's go to our terminal. Let's try to run this program. So note app.js. You can see here we are getting here error. Syntax error, indentifier full name has already been declared, and that's right. We can also find the error in our code. All right, let's see. Here is this is just some code that's running. Our code is coming from a Node.js environment. Don't worry about this. I would like to find our line. So here is an internal main module on line 17. Let's verify if this our line is here. And okay, it's not line 17, but it's just above the line 17. Okay, so we know that we have an error here because we are specifying here a second full name, and we can see here, or actually my mistake, we can see here where is error coming from. We can see here Udemy service car service / app.js on line 18, const full name here, John Green, and a full name has already been declared. Of course, you need to choose a different name if you want to create a new variable, because you cannot have two variables with the same name in your application or in a same scope, and we'll be talking about the scopes later, no worries. Okay, so we have here full name. When you want to create a new variable, you can just create a full name too, let's say, and now this will run okay. But let's say I would like to just change this, change the value of my variable full name. So I don't want to redeclare. I don't want to declare a new variable. So I just want to access my full name, and I would like to get there John Green value. But I can do it. Let's save this. Let's go to our terminals and let's see what will happen now. And you will see here a second error, but a different type. Assignment to a constant variable. So there's a difference, one of the differences between a const and a let. When you define const, which is a constant, you cannot change its value later. When you will define it once, you cannot change it later. Okay, if I would use here let, this lets me change this value later. This change me this value that's holding this variable later. So here I have a full name, I'm accessing full name, and I decide to change it to a John Green. Let's save this. go to our terminal. Now it should run all right. So the result, node app.js, and you should see here, actually, you cannot see this value here because we are not consoling log out this value, but you can see that we don't have any errors here. We can also, decide to display this. So just simply just console log here, full name. All right, semicolon here. Let's save this. Let's go back to our terminals and let's run it here. So node app.js, and you can see here John Green. All right, let's continue. Let's go back to our coding editors, and what I will try to do now is to debug our code, so we'll see how our code is actually running. So whenever we will type a node app.js, our code from app.js file is run, and it's run one line after another. Okay, this is normal flow of a program. So what if we would like to stop this execution at one point, at one line in our code, and we would like to execute our code manually? You need to write here debugger. Okay, debugger is a special keyword. Just write here debugger. Let's save this. And now in the Visual Studio Code, go to left side, and here you have this bug, and it's called debug and run. Let's click on this. And let's choose here debug with Node.js. Okay, so let's click here and debug with Node.js. And actually, all right, we are not getting inside of our application debugger listening on debugger attached. All right, to further configure debug and run, create a launch JSON file. So let's click here rather run with Node.js. And okay, it will create a launch JSON file. So let's click here on create a launch JSON file. All right, and let's see what we can do here. Okay, there's a configuration that will run our debugger. All right, program, we are running our workspace app.js. Okay, everything seems to be fine here in this video. Need to any further configure it. I'm just wondering why we aren't getting inside of our debugger. So now when we are here in our launch.json, we can click here, launch program, this green arrow on the left side here in the top part. So let's click this start debugging. Okay, and we are still not getting here. So debugger seems to actually not work here. I will add here a semicolon. Let's save this. Let's wait. All right, it doesn't react to debugger. So what we can additionally do, we can just remove this debugger line, and we can click here just before this line number here. So let's create here so-called breakpoint. Okay, so here's a breakpoint, and now let's click here this green arrow, and maybe now we are getting inside of our code. Okay, I thought that we can use debugger here. Debugger we can use in our web applications, in our browsers, but I don't know right now why this is not working here, but the breakpoint is the same as writing basically debugger. So we write a breakpoint in our line when we will run our code. This will be, execution of our code will be stopped in the line where we wrote the debugger. And now you can see here, you can inspect here a couple of variables. We have here accessible this context. We will be talking about this context later, but don't worry about this local, this context, and so on. We can just close it. Or just let's leave it open because we will have here other variables. But basically now our program is running as it will be running when we are basically writing node space app.js. So we are executing our file and we are executing it one line after another. This is the first line of our code. Okay, we are creating variable is employed and we are assigning to is employed variable true value. So for now is employed is undefined. When you want to go to another line of your code, you need to just click here, this arrow, step over, and this will step over to the next line. So I will click here, and now when I will hover over is employed variable, I can see here is employed is holding true value. Okay, so, all right, actually we can inspect this here. Okay, you can see here local, and all of your variables, age, birthday, first name, full name, has apartment, last name, all the variables we define here, phone, and so on, are undefined, okay? because we declared this variable, but we didn't assign any values to these variables yet. All right, so let's skip to another line. So let's click here this arrow. You can see our program is executed one line after another. As we are executing our program, we are assigning values to our variables. So you can see here, we have here already first name, full name is still undefined. Let's skip here. Full name is it was Filip Bierga. When we'll reassign it to a John Green, it's a John Green here, full name, and so on. Now we are running console log. So when we will skip to another line, this console log will be executed, and we'll execute here John Green because full name is holding John Green value. So when I will skip here, console log here, you can see here in our debug console, we can see John Green. When we will skip another line, we are consoling along out our name. So you can see here first name was holding Philip, so name, colon, space, plus Philip. This created this name colon space Philip, another space here, last name, which was Bierga, space, comma, age, and age is here, age is holding 29. Okay, so that's what we are writing here. Let's skip to another line. Now we are consoling log birthday. Birthday is undefined. I will hover over, I should see here undefined, or actually don't see, yeah, I can see here undefined. Let's skip to another line, and it will be phone, which is a null. Our code, our program is still running. You can see here our program is running because we are here on this line. When I will continue to next line, there is no other line here after line 26. And so this means our program, our application will be terminated. So I will click here, skip to another line. Our application is terminated. It's not executing anymore. I will show you something interesting. In the case that you're on a Mac machines, you can open here activity monitor. So you can see application is running on your computer right now, right? Okay, I cannot zoom it more. I can make it just a bigger, I guess. All right, if you're using Windows, you have some other program for this. I right now share what you can use on a Windows machine. I will specify this probably here on some pop-up what you can use, but it is just an example. I would like to show you how our program is running. Okay, so I will execute here our application. Okay, so I will go to my Visual Studio Code. I will execute this. So I will click here this green arrow. This should stop here. Okay, our Node application should be running. So I should find here Node. Somewhere here should be Node. Okay, so here is my application and it's running currently my current service application executed in a Node environment. And you can see here memory, and memory is taking currently 7.1 megabyte. Okay, remember this. Let's go to our Visual Studio Code, and I will define here some more. I'll define here values to variables. Okay, so this will create a memory space. This will take some memory in our memory space. Okay, so I will assign here a value, I will assign here a value. Our program is running and it's assigning values to the variables. Now let's take on activity monitor. All right, let's see this, and actually, I think this is not taking. Or actually, yeah, now it's already started. Okay, so you can see here now it's taking 7.5 megabytes, so it's taking more space as I am assigning new values, because these values are saved in a memory of our computer. Now when I will assign here more values, okay, my program is executed, more values here, more value here, console log here, full name, console log here, this, and so on. Let's go to our activity monitor. Now it's 7.8, so you can see it's taking more and more space in the memory of our computer while our program is running. It is very important. Okay, so let's continue. Now we will step here, console log phone, and we'll jump out. All right, our program is terminated because there is no more lines to be executed. Terminal, or actually activity monitor, there is no Node.js process anymore. Our memory is cleared, so we have here more 8 megabytes we can use in our computer. Okay, so that's basically it, guys. I just wanted to show you const difference and a let, just very small difference. So as I told you, when you are using const, you cannot reassign these variables. So when you're using const, it's a constant, you are assigning one value, but when you want to reassign this, when you want to reassign value to a variable, you cannot do it when it's const. You can assign it only once, and then it cannot be changed. When you are using let, you can reassign this. So you can see here we are accessing here, we are creating variable full name, and now we are reassigning this to a John Green. So that is possible with the lets. And I think that should be it from this lecture. We debug our code one line after another. As I told you, our program is executed one line after another, so you could see how our program is executed. So when you will type node space app.js, this same thing will happen, but very fast. One line after another, in a time of few milliseconds, is executed, and everything is console logged out in your terminal. But when you are using debugger, you can see how your program is running, what values you have in the variables, and in a case of difficult computation and some processes, and you're not sure what values you are getting to the variables, you can easily debug your code and you can inspect your variables. You can see, okay, now my code is running this way, now I'm assigning this value to this variable, now I'm doing some computation, and you can inspect your values, and debugger and console logs are a very useful helper when you are programming. Okay guys, so that should be it from this lecture. In next lecture we'll continue, we'll be still working with the variables a lot. We'll be talking about a new concept of functions, and then we'll talk about the classes and more concepts. So I'm sorry this lecture is taking so much time, but I need to explain you really everything in a detail. So guys, that's it from this lecture, and I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers guys.